Hello and welcome, as today we look at geometric sequences. So, what is a geometric sequence? A geometric sequence is when you find an answer by multiplying the first term by a constant. The equation we use is g sub 1 equals x. Then g sub n equals rg sub n minus 1. And this is only true, of course, when n is greater than or equal to 2. For example, if we have the sequence 10 through 50, then it would be g sub 1 equals 10 because 10 is the first term. And our equation, if we're trying to find the second term, which we already know is 20, would be g sub 2 because it's the second term, 2 because that's our rate of change, everything's being multiplied by 2, in parentheses 10 because that was our first term, to the sub 2 minus 1. And with that, we get g sub 2 equals 20. So now let's look at some practice equations you can do at home. For this one, we have the sequence 5, 25, 125, 625. So what will be the fifth term of the sequence? The equation g sub n equals rgn, or sub n minus 1, when n is greater than or equal to 2, is the equation you'll use. Feel free to pause now. We're back, and the equation you should have had was g sub 5 equals 5g sub 5 minus 1, which then becomes g sub 5 equals 5 times 625, because 625 was the fourth term. The 5 minus 1 equals 4. So this means your final answer should have been g sub 5 equals 3125. So let's look at another practice problem. For this sequence, find the equation and the fourth term. Feel free to pause now and solve. We are back, and the equation you should have had was g sub 4 equals half g sub 4 minus 1, which becomes g sub 4 equals half of 10. Now you can either use the 1 over 2 or you can use 5/10. Really, both of them mean that you are dividing by 2. And this means that your answer should have been 5. How I like to remember this equation is, since I learned it in geometry, and the variables go gn, r, gn, and that negative 1, or that minus 1 at the end, I like to think of geometry never really gets negative. And then that negative 1 at the end kind of fits in because it's the last word is negative 1. So just really remember that the last variable and that negative 1 are subletters, and that both of the ends are subvariables. Thank you very much for watching this video today. I hope you have learned and enjoyed.